What's up YouTube, and welcome to yet another video. So I guess you're here because you want to know how to change your tire. Okay, let's get down to it. So I first of all start with putting on a pair of gloves. Of course, I'm not a mechanic, so I don't do this on the daily, and I wouldn't want to get my hands all dirty and oiled up with all sort of dirt. So as we put on the glove, in case you're here for the first time, you are on Auto Bargain, and on this channel we purpose to get you the best car deals and show you some of the DIY home fixes that you can make. So at this point, I make sure that I place my jack on a level ground, and beneath the body of the car there is usually a railing where your jack should meet. So as you can see, there is a groove on the jack. So as I'm jacking it up, I align the jack to the groove or the mounting point on the body where that's on the vehicle. So this took me a bit of time, but I eventually got it. Yeah, so let's watch as I jack up this vehicle. So at this point, let me show you the groove that I was telling you the jack should mount to. So if you look, that's the railing that's on the body, and that's where the jack should mount to. Yeah, so let's continue. So at this point, I come in with the jack spinning rod, and I start lifting up the car. And before I do that, so I need to loosen up the wheel's lug nuts, so that when the wheel is up in the air and it can move freely, I'll be able to get them off. You can see I'm using my body weight as a leverage to get them loose. Yeah, they were quite tight, and you should tighten them. You should have them quite tight to avoid them getting loose by their own and possibly losing a wheel when you're on the road. So I loosen them quite some bit, and I'll get back to jacking the car back up. So at this point, you can see the car rising up. There's actually a very funny thing that happened, as you'll see later in the video. So at this point, I realized that the jack had lifted up both the front and the rear wheel. It's quite a strong jack. It's a 2-ton jack. It's usually used in larger cars. Let's say a 1.5-ton jack would be best for this type of salon vehicle. but I just got myself a big one. So for this reason, I had to jack the car back down and find a mounting point that's nearer to the front wheel, because I only wanted the front wheel to go up in the air. Remember, the rear wheel also helps with stability when the car is on the air. So that's why I had to bring down my jack and move it, find a mounting point that's nearer to the front wheel. So at this point I got the rear seat floor mat. My missus was around and she was watching. So because laundry could be a bit difficult, I didn't want to dirty myself so much. So I got the floor mat, laid it on the floor, and I moved the jack to a nearer position to the front wheel, which I wanted to go up in the air. So after the car was high enough, I now had the chance to take off the wheel. Remember, I had loosened the lug nuts before, so it was just a matter of now taking them off completely. Yay, and finally our wheel was off. That was quite the task. So after removing the wheel, place it under the vehicle in case your jack malfunctions and the vehicle falls, so that it can fall on the wheel. Be sure to place it under the car, under the vehicle. So after getting the wheel off, I got the chance to inspect my braking system, the brake disc, calipers, if there was any meat on the brake pads, and the whole suspension system, and all was good. So that's how you get off a tire. So after getting our tire off, probably getting a spare tire, or you finished working on your front wheel area, then we need to get the tire back. So you pull it back from beneath the car, and at this point you're doing this very carefully. So at this point I had to move at the front of the car because the camera was standing on the way of the wheel, so I took it from the front. I went back the camera, and here I am with the wheel. So it's a bit beat up, and this vehicle could really use an underwash. It's really dirty. It's really dirty. Yeah, so we pick up our wheel, align the wheel nuts on the vehicle, and then start putting our studs one by one. So at this point we get our wheel spanner and tighten them as tight as we can while the vehicle is still suspended on the air. Or is it in the air? So at this point I realized that the vehicle had an unusual play of the wheel. At this point I'm suspecting the axle. The axle could be the problem, but I didn't get to the bottom of it. I just realized it has a play, but I'll sort that out in another video. So at this point we lower down our vehicle so that we can use that leverage from the tire being on the ground to tighten our lug nuts. After the vehicle is lowered all the way down and you have removed the jack from the railing, then go ahead and tighten your lug nuts. Use some weight from your body. You can as well tighten it with your hands. At this stage I first of all used the leverage or the strength from my hands, and then you'll see me later in the video using the rest of the weight of my body, stepping on the spanner and tightening up the lug nuts. And that's it for today's video. Be sure to leave a like and subscribe for more content like this. Peace.